food to get ready with my brother when I see a guy pull up with this car backing up to park in front of me. He backed up so fast where he almost hit my car. So me and my brother honked at him and we're like, yo, like, watch out, you're about to hit the car. And he gets out of the car and he's like, I have eyes, I can see. Like, okay, you have eyes, but clearly you can't use them. So he goes inside the store to pick up his cake, and my brother goes inside to pick up our food. And by the time he comes back out, my brother's not back out yet, and I wanted to honk at him and be like, next time watch what you say. But he left, and then my brother came out right when he left, and he was at the light, and I was like, listen, we're gonna go catch this guy, and I'm gonna like beat him up. I mean, I really couldn't beat him up, but I just wanted to follow him, like give him the finger or whatever. So I'm driving and I feel like I lost him and I didn't find him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And then I found him. I saw his car and I went after him, but like for part 2. Storytime part 2 on how a guy bothered me, they got into a car accident. So basically I was following him, and then I finally saw his car and I was like, yes. I told my brother, I was like, I'm gonna honk at him, give him the finger. So he saw us doing that and I was like, yes, like I got my revenge. Like I just wanted to do that to him because he was being a whole jerk. So I thought he was turning at the light and he was gonna go on his way, and I went on my way and I was waiting at the light to make a U-turn to go back home, and I was just like, yes, like that made my day because he got tight, he couldn't do anything. And we're sitting at the light and I see his car pull up and like next to us, and he's holding his middle finger up and looking at us. So as he's doing that, we're giving the finger back, and he's not even looking in front of him to see if there's another car. So right when he's looking and giving us the finger, he hits the car in front of him. Me and my brother were like, yes, you idiot, karma is a B. That is what you get, hunte. So the guy got out of the car and he stopped him, and yeah. Story time on the time me and my brother almost got kidnapped and we were 10 years old. So throwback to like 9 years ago, I was 10 years old and so was my brother. Me and him decided to go play tennis at our local park. But the day that we decided to go, it was raining and it was like so gloomy out where nobody would be at the park. So of course me and him were like, we need to go to the park and we need to go play tennis. So our park was like 3 blocks away and we usually walk there. And as we're walking there, before we're about to enter the park, I see like a guy with a bicycle like eyeing us down across the street. So I told my brother, I was like, yo, this guy looks creepy as heck. But we like ignored it and we just continued to go to the park. And as we go inside, this guy follows us. Go to part 2. Storytime part 2 on how me and my brother almost got kidnapped. So we get into the courts to start playing tennis, and this guy is just sitting outside the courts like cheering us on and clapping for us. And on the other side of the fence, there was another guy standing with the bicycle looking at us so sus. I turn around and I see a white van outside of the park. So I'm like shitting myself. I start crying because there's nobody else, and I call my mom like, come pick us up. As soon as I took my phone out, the guy on the bicycle dips in the van and my mom gets there.
I haven't been to the toilet in 4 days and it was starting to worry me, so I went to the doctor's. I arrived and the doctor felt my stomach and said it was very hard. He wanted me to take a stool sample, which means you have to shit in the cup. I had coffee for breakfast, so I was pretty much ready to go. I grabbed the cup and went to the toilet and held it up to my ass and started pushing. I didn't realize how badly coffee affected me, and the next thing you know, a strong gust of diarrhea started blasting out of my ass and I felt like a rocket ready for takeoff. I grabbed onto the door for balance because I started levitating and the cup was already full, but I couldn't stop. I was holding onto the door for dear life and the shit was spitting out like a shotgun. I eventually stopped and looked at the glass cup of my shit and there were cracks all over the glass. I heard the desk lady shouting for everyone to get under the...
Story time on the time I had to go pick up my sister, who went to Manhattan an hour away and didn't tell my parents. So basically, my sister asked my parents if she could go to her friend's house, which was 5 minutes away. So they came and they picked her up and took her to their house. Fast forward 2 hours later, my parents tell me to pick her up and bring her back home. So I text her and I'm like, where are you at? I'm gonna come pick you up in 5 minutes. This girl texts me and is like, Mash, I'm not there. I'm in the city. I'm an hour away. Oh my God. And I'm like, you stupid bitch. So I had to drive to the city, which was an hour away, and I had to drive back. And my parents told me to also get my Starbucks drink, so I had to go there on top of that. So we were freaking out in the car because my mom has a tracker on her phone and she turned it off and she called my brother, so we thought she knew. But then when we got home, she didn't know. Story time on the time my sister threw my phone out the window. Mind you, we lived in a 2-story building. So basically, my sister was like 5 at the time and I was 11 years old, and I had a phone. It wasn't an iPhone or anything. It was just like a phone with a little keypad or whatever. It was still my phone. It was my first phone and I like valued it deeply. So me and my sister got into a fight, and she is like a little cray-cray. I don't know why she has such bad anger issues at the age of 5 that she had to throw my phone out the window. But I yelled at her, so she got mad. And then all of a sudden, I see she goes towards my phone, and she grabs it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she takes it, and she opens the window. And me and my brother look at her. We're like, no, what are you doing? And she just throws it out and looks at me and laughs. And I was like, girl, what is wrong with you? She looks at me and she laughs. She's like, that's what you get. So I was like, really? Then a week later, I cut all her hair off. Story time on the time a lady hit my car and tried to blame it on me. So like 2 years ago, my sister told me to take her to the festival. And the festival was in our mall parking lot, and it was so busy with so many cars. And I'm like sitting there looking for a parking in the car with my sister and my brother. So I saw a car backing out, and I was waiting for that car to finish backing out so I could go park in their spot. And all of a sudden, I hear a big thump on the bumper of my car, and my car moves like 2-3 feet forward. It wasn't that hard, but still, like, she messed up my bumper. I turn around and I see the lady, and I was like, hello, you hit me. She's looking at me like she's like stupid, like she didn't even know that she hit my car.